First, I'm gonna just break down the shoe into this simplified shape. So I'm looking at my Converse, seeing what angles I can break this down into, and I'm just gonna do a simple block-in method. So since this is a high top Converse, I kind of draw my way from left to right because I'm right-handed, but I'm gonna start by drawing the heel area and the counter. And I'm sketching it a little longer because this is a high top Converse. I'm gonna sketch the bottom of the sole. Moving my way up to the collar area. Since the ankle, well, not the ankle, but the collar where this is just like the top of your shoe, where your foot goes and your ankle is, it's always thinner. Then I'm gonna move to sketching the eye stay area. And I'm just gonna sketch this really basic diagonal line. I'm gonna switch up the angle here. And I'm gonna do another diagonal line. I'm kind of just gonna round that out because I'm gonna go over that later. But this is the basic breakdown of this shoe. So I'm starting back over where the heel and ankle are, the heel and counter, but where your ankle goes. So this is the collar area. I'm now gonna define this slope where the eye stay and eyelets are. This is like the area where your shoestrings will be. I'm gonna go to the bottom of this and just kind of define the bottom of the sole with this second color. Now right here is where I'm gonna start curving upward because as you can see, Converse kind of curve up in their original design. So I'm gonna curve this up some. And this is still where the outer sole and midsole area are. And they connect to the toe box and toe cap. So that's the basic outline of that. And then I can't forget to sketch the tongue. So now you have that basic outline. My next step is just to go in and add some more details. I'm actually gonna start where the toe box, toe cap area is. This is like a triangle shape and it kind of does look like a toe. And I'm gonna define the eye stay area. This is where that stitching would be. And it kind of curves down to where the midsole is. I'm just gonna sketch the eyelets. Boom. Now I'm gonna define my midsole and outsole area. So as you can see with Converse, it kind of starts near the toe cap and it's higher or a thicker sole than some shoes, but not all shoes. So I'm just gonna sketch the midsole. And add smaller details. And if you want, you can sketch the shoestrings. Now I'm just adding little stitching detail. Now I am sketching a little awkwardly because I have the camera on a little tripod in front of me, so it's kind of hard for me to work around it. But when you sketch, just make sure you're not doing these little jagged lines. Try and be more fluid. I started doing the jagged lines here to try and maneuver my arm, but make sure your lines are smooth and fluid when you sketch. All right, next I'm gonna move on to drawing the bottom of the sole and the top of the shoe. I'll do it here. So you're gonna start with a little oval. This is where the heel of your foot is. And then you're gonna draw a slightly larger and slanted oval. So this is usually where the ball of your foot and your toe area would be. This is that representation, and this little space represents the arch of your foot. Oh, I should have used a different color, but I forgot. But now I'm just gonna go and outline and redefine the sole of the shoe. So this is the general shape of the bottom of the Converse. I don't have to get too detailed here. And just, there's like a waffle pattern on the bottom. But that's the general shape design. Now I'm gonna draw the top view, and I'm gonna use that same method. Heel, ball and toe area. And I'm just gonna lightly sketch the outline before I go in and add any details. I'm gonna start by drawing the toe box, toe cap area, just because I feel like it's the best place for me to start. Now I'm not drawing it at the edge of my initial sketch because you can see part of the midsole from this top angle because the sole is kind of thick and the shoe spreads out some. Now I'm gonna move to the opening where you see the insole. I'm just gonna reshape what I initially sketched. And this is kind of curving in to show you where the eye stay area and eye strings are gonna, the eye stay eyelet area is, and then your shoestrings or laces will be. And I'm just sketching in the tongue. And now I'm just gonna continue drawing that eye stay area. And you kind of see it connecting to the sole. So again, I'm leaving some space peeking through so you can see the sole and part of the side of the shoe. You can draw shoestrings. I'm gonna quickly sketch some of those eyelets little circles, the little metal pieces your shoestrings go through. And I'm just gonna crisscross through them. So now you have side view, bottom view, top view. The last view or angle I'm gonna do is the front and the back of the shoe. So first I'm gonna change my color. I'm gonna sketch a basic shape to break it down into. So it's gonna be kind of like a trapezoid. And one side of it kind of sticks out a little more than the other. And I'm gonna draw two of these. This one is gonna be for the front. Then this one is gonna be for that back view. This is the basic shape. Now for the front, I'm also gonna add and sketch in an oval for an angle of where that toe cap area is to separate it from the upper area. And just remember, like, this is the upper area of the shoe. It's called the upper, and then this is midsole, outsole. On the back, I'm gonna do the same thing, but I'm gonna sketch a slightly smaller oval or circle for where the heel of your foot would go. Now I'm just gonna go in, add my detail. In this case, I'm just gonna start with the toe box area and the sole. So I'm sketching up the midsole. Remember, Converse curve upward. So this is the midsole, and you will see part of the bottom of this shoe. Now this is outsole and bottom area, so I'm just gonna shade that in some. Now I'm gonna work on the details, sketching the tongue, even that peeking through. Moving on to sketching the eye stay, eyelet area. And I'm just quick sketching. I can see a little bit of the toe box kind of stick out. Finishing up that eye stay. And then you can kind of see a little bit of the fabric, the canvas fabric from the side of the shoe. So just sketch that in a little bit. Then you have your shoestrings. So that is the front view. And then for the back view, I'm just going to define the heel area some, making sure I stay within that little circle I initially sketched, because you see part of the heel and you see part of the midsole, outsole area, but also you see a little bit of the front and side of the shoe, just because when a foot is flat, it spreads out, and the shoe is kind of made to accommodate that. So I'm gonna keep sketching part of the midsole that you can see the sides of. And then I'm just gonna sketch the tongue. You can see a little bit of the logo. So now you have side, bottom, top, front, and back.